Number 5 seed Giganotosaurus versus number 13 seed Mapusaurus. And we saw last time Mapu cheated. He brought a pack in. He had been found in a bone bed, and very shocking. Number 2, the same paleontologist, Rodolfo Correa, named both of these animals. So this is a brother against brother battle. This Mapusaurus, even though it says is listed as 37 feet and 4 tons, he's coming in at a full 39.5 feet and 6 tons. This is an animal that is every bit as big as Giganotosaurus. So though we were able to make sure Mapu's fellow pack hunting animals weren't around, he somehow managed to switch out with one of his even bigger brethren. The two square off, and Giganotosaurus, he's looking for all the world. He's a self-declared champion. I mean, this is an animal that is every bit as big as T-Rex in his mind, at least as long, and wants to be the champion. But in order to get there, he's got to take out Mapusaurus, who is fearless at this point. The two of them engage in what is probably the most brutal, bloody battle since the Tarbo versus Torvosaurus battle earlier. These two equally matched Carcharodontosaurs. They begin slicing and dicing and slashing and bashing. Multiple kicks, feints, they're jumping around. Two extraordinarily powerful, active predators in the prime of their lives. This is a bloody mess. Ultimately, Giganotosaurus, he takes the victory. Just a little bit heavier, a little bit more powerful, and Giganotosaurus wins. But Mapusaurus gave it all he's got. Don't sleep on Mapusaurus going forward.
He's one of the competitors, and I think that if you want to anthropomorphize him, Giganotosaurus coming in at number 5 was a slap in his face. So Giganotosaurus was named, I believe, in 98, somewhere in 97, and Rodolfo Correa named him and flat out declared world's largest meat eater. And I'm going to turn this light for a second, see if this helps out in terms of how I look. Bear with me on a moment. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that helps a lot.
Yeah. So it was this dark, somber moment for Torvosaurus, because I truly do like Torvosaurus. But now we're at the other animals. So, and I alluded to it last time, and I alluded to it in the blog on the website, but at some point I will share my story of being down in Plaza Huincul, Argentina, and meeting with Rodolfo Correa, and also meeting with Jorge Calvo in Neuquén, Argentina. And they were, at the time, they ultimately published a paper together, but they had each found Giganotosaurus material, and they each claimed they had the longer dentary. So great humor to ensue. But what I really took away from that way back then was the massively long, I mean, the Giganotosaur, the Carcharodontosaur jaws, long, lower skull, not as muscular, but those teeth, it's like a mouthful of shark teeth. And Giganotosaurus is number 5 in the tournament, and he is now going up against Mapusaurus. Mapusaurus, also named by Rodolfo Correa, and I did email him asking his opinion of who's going to win, and he wouldn't give me an answer. He wouldn't tell me he thought one of his children would win. So in the last battle, Mapusaurus was losing badly to a Tyrannosaurid, and employed some old wrestling techniques and had his buddies come in. And that's an allusion to Mapusaurus was found in a bone bed, and the thought process being that this particular animal, though not in the paper, Rodolfo on camera stated he believed that they hunt in packs. So for this battle, we cleared the battlefield. We made sure there were no additional Mapusaurs roaming around. But one of the items that we didn't make clear in the actual narrative of the fight was the Mapusaurus that showed up on the battlefield to fight Giganotosaurus was not the same Mapusaurus from before. It was a little longer and a little heavier and was pretty much the size of Giganotosaurus. And the reason for that is we keep finding more and more Mapusaurus elements, and there's some really big ones out there. And we also find the Giganotosaurus elements. So before we jump into some additional commentary on the battle, I want to stop soliloquizing and hand it over to you and talk about how you are out there every field season finding different sized dinosaurs, and about just dinosaur size in general and the frustration of trying to predict max size from the fossil record.
Oh, sure. When I'm out in the field with my colleagues, we talk a lot about the size of dinosaurs and how you can actually tell some of those things. And, you know, without knowing for sure that you found the biggest, you never really know. Although, if you look statistically, most animals are going to fall into a certain average range. So if fossil preservation really counts as a random sampling that happened of what was alive back then, there's a good chance that we're looking at, even when we're looking at big ones, stuff that's animals that were on the larger size of average. There could still be, you know, like the equivalent of a Shaquille O'Neal sized tyrannosaur out there somewhere, you know, something really huge. So we do kind of keep that in mind. And also you have to remember that the larger an animal is, the less likely it's going to get buried quickly and preserve a lot of the skeleton. So when I'm in Western Kansas, for instance, hunting for marine fossils, the largest Zephactinus, which is a big type of just gnarly looking fish that we've ever found, was just a little over 19 feet long. It's huge, but that's the largest skeleton we've found. Its vertebrae are probably about that big around, but we've seen and found individual elements from much larger ones. A bigger fish is harder to bury, so you're not going to see full skeletons quite as often preserved, but we do see pieces of them every now and then. You run into the same thing with dinosaurs. So I'm glad that we get to see a bigger Mapusaurus go up against Giganotosaurus like this, because, you know, I really want to see how this plays out with a larger sampling of, I think, a fairly impressive dinosaur who could put up a good fight.
And in the battle we had, Mapusaurus came in. He's very confident, bigger, stronger, faster in his mind, but Giganotosaurus dominated the fight.
Still takes it, man. He still takes it. It's hard to, it's a more fun fight this way. You know, I don't like watching anybody just get stomped so quickly that nothing happens in the fight. But, boy, taking on Giganotosaurus is no small feat.
Absolutely. And the big feet of Giganotosaurus stomped the Mapusaurus. Once Mapusaurus went down, it was a very messy, bloody. He knew also, you know, I think back of his mind, he was thinking maybe there's some chicanery or trickery that could transpire. And he finished off Mapusaurus with authority. He is gunning for T-Rex. And that sets up our finals on the one side of the bracket. We have Giganotosaurus squaring off against T-Rex, and the winner goes on to the championship. So any thoughts on that battle, you know, alluding to that battle?
Oh, I'm looking forward to that. Like the whole Giganotosaurus versus T-Rex thing is a debate I've been having with my friends since the late 90s. You know, everybody wants to see how this one plays out. Everybody wants to know the big Tyrannosaur versus the big Carcharodontosaur. They're huge. They're both powerful. They both bring a little bit of a different type of weaponry to the table. It should be a pretty good match.
I'm right there with you. I'm excited to watch the raw head power of the Tyrannosaur versus the overall well-balanced power of the Carcharodontosaur. Strong in all areas, whereas the T-Rex is almost, you alluded to the video games last time, T-Rex has got that knockout power that just is like, it's Punch Out with Mike Tyson.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's going to be a fun one.